and welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Russo and Goodwin LSU Football Show. As always, co-hosts Russo, Coach Trey, Coach. What are we up to today?
Dog had a very, and I mean very busy day at the I guess you could say the office in the field. But we're here. There was a couple of hills we needed to climb in order to be able to like fully lock in to the college football season today, away from this show, but at the actual job was one of those hills. The rest of this week, once we get into next week, I feel like we're finally going to start breaking into, preseason. Because it is technically the preseason, like preseason looks and stuff. Like we'll be able to break down like maybe matchup spreads, overs, and stuff like that. But kind of starting to smell like week zero. Am I overstepping?
You're not overstepping. I mean, we're right there. Shout out Bo as always. We're here. We're what 2 weeks officially away from week zero, and then 3 weeks from our week one game. Um, so yeah, we're right there. Had our first scrimmage over the weekend in Tiger Stadium. Um, Obviously, a lot of that is based on speculation. Not speculation, just intel that we're hearing from the people that were there since it was a closed scrimmage. So we'll go over that. We'll also go over some week two fall camp notes that we've been hearing, maybe some gold jerseys, a little bit of this, a little bit of that with the position groups, and we're going to lead the show off with obviously the Jayden Daniels drama because we didn't have an episode. We had some time in between, and it happened right after our show. I believe is when the news broke on ESPN about the cease and desist on number 5. So lots of stuff to go over. So I'm gonna give the floor to. Well, first of all, as you can see, you're 89 subscribers. So we gained one from last week. Please, as always, like and subscribe. We've got our goal of 100. Means the world to us. I know it doesn't seem like a lot compared to some of your big name guys, but 100's our first landmark or checkpoint, as we say. So please like and subscribe, share it to your friends, and you know, listen to two friends just shoot the crap about college football. So specifically LSU. So I'm gonna give the floor to Trey on the Jayden Daniels saga, and I'll also give my thoughts after him.
Man, um, I, hmm, I, how sometimes like I say I don't want to go too long winded. I actually really want to go long winded, but I'm not because I don't want the entire show to be about pessimism. Um, so I guess the long and short of it is I was unable to give my immediate reaction given the circumstances of when the actual like I guess the information came forward super late in the afternoon. Um, I actually I actually was sitting down, Russo, on the couch preparing my workday on the phone. So for those of you that don't know, um, when I like wake up in the morning before I go to the gym, I give myself about 10 minutes to really get in like go mode. Okay. And that go mode is candidly like the worst time to give me any bad news because it is very much going to determine how the rest of the morning and proverbial day will go. I mean, dude, it was like the first moment out of the shoot, so to speak. Shout out, Katie back there, Russo Sugarfoot. How we doing there, Queen? Uh, it was literally right out of the gate that I received this information. Russo, do you remember whenever BK was let go? Do you remember how there was like no way to even keep your phone charged?
Right.
That's how my phone was that day. Like bruh. So anyway, the long and short of it is, and I made this like a solo audio file that I kind of like mailed out, emailed out, messaged out to a few people. The way I see it, Jayden Daniels doesn't win the Heisman without LSU. LSU does not win all of those games that year without Jayden Daniels. It was a clear lack of viewpoint, and I think oversight by his people that speak for him. I don't think it's going to take too much. I don't think it's going to take too much effort to assume who it might have been. But the long and short of it is, Jayden Daniels had to put a stamp of approval on it.
His mother is what you were probably referring to there, correct?
Okay. I will listen to me. I'm not giving anybody any excuses. You're a grown adult, like you're an NFL quarterback going into your third season, and you're a grown adult man. And the fact that you had to sign off on that makes it even that much more embarrassing. It's a number. You know what I'm saying? And what I actually am really disappointed in is not only how it was said, it was how he expected the response to be. And again, we don't go too far. I can't believe I didn't say this at the outset, but I just wanted to say RIP, because what happened to the very next day kind of put everything into perspective. RIP to a legend, Coach Skip Burtman. And this will be a discussion for another day on how many things were set in place to have LSU where you are today. To even be complaining and moaning about numbers is a lot of what Skip did with the baseball program. And then as an athletics director, to be completely honest with you, there's a lot of things that LSU doesn't have right now without Skip Burtman. So I don't want to take any more time without saying, rest in peace. And eternal glory for that guy, because he certainly did a lot for a school that you and I graduated from, love, put a lot of time, effort, and blood and sweat and tears in. So shout out, Coach. It kind of puts things into perspective. It's a number, dog. Like the way you say, because Joe Burrow was nobody here ever loved you because you reminded them of Joe Burrow. People loved you here because you were fun to watch. And so when you make it about a comparison thing, and I say this 1,000 times, my better half, shout out Sugarfoot, she gonna say something talking about he always says comparison is the thief of joy, and it's true. You don't get to compare yourself to Joe, who threw for 11,006 yards and 60 touchdowns, went perfect and won a national championship and had the best college football team that the world's ever seen. You don't get to say that. What we would have respected is if you came out and said, I don't love that this is happening. However, we're going to handle this privately. Go Tigers. You know what I'm saying? Like, let it be known you're pissed without saying, I'm willing to throw everything away based on my anger right now in the moment. And the fact that the people in his camp allowed themselves to show their behinds proves to me that you never really appreciated everything that LSU did give you. Because if you're willing to throw it completely away, and this is my opinion at the time, right? And my opinion at the time is, you're willing to throw everything away over a freaking jersey number. And so I guess what it came down to, before he came out and publicly said what he said and realized that he was an idiot, or that he was having an idiotic mistake, I should say, is that you don't get to just turn your back on Louisiana and then just go and then hezzy and go, JK, 8 hours later. Dog, people already put your jersey in the Goodwill box. Like, it's very difficult for me because I have a Jayden Daniels jersey. There's actually like more than one occasion in which when I go to the football games, I would wear my JD5 jersey because it was just the easiest thing for everybody to get behind. Like, your team was great because of him and the pieces you put around him on offense, and the defense let you down. And to be completely like transparent with Jayden in your camp, dog, we don't hate you. We love what you did for us, but you don't get to act as though you stand apart for your one season and that now all of a sudden you're going to have this special treatment over a number. LSU has been very clear on this. You and I agree that their stance on the jerseys is stupid. You retire jerseys, not numbers. LSU has been very transparent on it. We may not like the way that they handle it. We may have wanted you to start building the statue at 9 and 5 the day they walked off the campus, but there's a grace period and a wait period, and you are aware of that. Now, there's reports that he called out to LSU and nothing happened. But if what is Lane supposed to do? Like, is he supposed to just let DJ Pickett walk out of the room? And for those of you, and no one said this, by the way, but for those of the people that are going to defend the Jayden camp and say, well, yeah, then if he wants to leave over a number, then let DJ Pickett walk out of the building. How about I hope you run over at minimum 2 or 3 of your own iPhone chargers with your
How
bare
about
foot
just
in the middle of
no?
the night. How about
Yeah,
no?
yeah.
How about no? How about your all-American freshman alien that's locking down one side of the field can actually wear that jersey number that's really not that big of a deal? Pay him some money. Have a JD5 night. Have Joe Burrow and Jayden Daniels and anybody else that had Heisman Trophy, Glenn Dorsey, the Outland Award winner, whoever. Have like a honor to our ode night. Or just do the Heisman and add Billy Cannon down in there and just have him painted down in there in the corner. Is that really what it's all about? Or did you genuinely care about a state that put themselves behind you, pause, for a football season? I don't know, man. I thought it was kind of selfish. I didn't think that sounded like him at all, but I can't let him off the hook because his attorneys can't put that across the green line unless you say it's okay. So it's just difficult for me to hear. I'm over it. I'm glad that they're trying to handle it now behind closed doors from what we're hearing, but there's going to be boos for JD5 now, who was the second loudest cheer in Tiger Stadium. And that's unfortunate because you have now spat in the face of, you know, millions of people that loved you. And now you're splitting your fan base up because people are not going to forget that. And some people are going to be like, oh, dude, we're like, and I said, no one cares when you tee it up and kick it off at dinner time against Clemson, what the freaking number is that DJ Pickett wears. And no one's going to care if he picks off a pass from whoever starts for Alabama and runs it back for 6 and you win the game at home in early November. No one cares what his number is. No one cares. So get over it. It's just a number because the very next day you see a legend's now no longer with us. So it puts things into perspective on what matters, and that doesn't.
Yeah. I think your position is a lot of LSU fans' position. I think a lot of us just hate it because it puts you in a bad situation, right? And he definitely did underestimate the reaction. I think he really kind of thought he was going to get more of a 50-50 split, and he just didn't. And I want to say, like, personally, I don't understand why a lot of the flack has not gone, or the blame has gone to Brian Kelly here. I mean, first of all, this happened on his watch. We talked about this on our first episode, right? We closed with it being like, wow, number 5 is, DJ Pickett changed his jersey. Number 5, first time since Jayden. Did we ever think it was going to turn into the mess it turned into? No. And that's what sucks. And I think the big thing that we just missed in all of this is Brian Kelly. It's just an, excuse my language, another shit stain on his tenor here. He was the one that allegedly, and this is all alleged, right? We don't know the full details until maybe it gets more public and we see more documentation or information on it. But allegedly, he was the one that made the promise, or it was under his watch, in DJ's recruitment. And first of all, he's a DB, and it's not like he was trying to live in Daniel's shadow, right? The number 5 meant a lot to him. He wore it all of his life. The sentiment was for another reason. So, like, and it's another side of the ball too. So, like, that's number one. Two, this happened under Brian Kelly's watch. It might not have been Brian Kelly, but allegedly Brian Kelly told DJ he could not wear it his freshman year. So, like, they made the promise to him and then told him, out of respect, no. So it's like why did you even make the promise in the first place? It sucks. I'm glad he did because like DJ Pickett is a hell of a player. He stood out his freshman year, and when you don't get talked about a lot as a cornerback, that means typically something good, right? I think we talked about that last episode. So a lot of blame should go to Brian Kelly, and even towards Jayden Daniels' camp. He should feel disrespected by Brian Kelly, if anything. The no one is bigger than the university, than the brand. I think a lot of players came out and said that, and that's just the truth. And it's unfortunate. I think we all hate it because I like you said as well. He was at least getting a top three reaction in the entire stadium. Tiger Stadium before the games or in the middle of the games. I don't remember. It's been a decade since I've been to a game. They show.
We're gonna
Um,
change that.
I know. I can't wait. I even got my merch, dude. I got some merch. We're we're looking we're looking forward to all that. They show the pros how they're doing in college, and Joe Burrow, of course, is shown with Jamar Chase from the Bengals. They get the loudest cheer. Um, and then I would say it's probably a tie between, and you can maybe confirm this. I would imagine him and JD and Jeddah's get the second best reaction.
Jamar gets
Now,
a pretty damn big one.
but I think it's they do it together with him and Joe, right? Like I
Hmm.
think they show them
Yeah,
together, so like they clearly get the loudest reaction. It sucks because like I don't know what kind of respect. Like you're right, the system in place sucks, but it's known. It's not like it's hidden and there was some BS behind under the table kind of thing. It's just frustrating, and he's not going to get that. I don't even know if they're going to show him. I don't know where this whole thing is going to go. Like, do they even show his name anymore? Like, do you really want to do that? Because like you are going to get booed. You just simply like you, I think he gets a mixed reaction, but a lot there's drunk fans.
hey,
Saturday night, Tiger Stadium.
hey.
He's definitely gonna get booed, especially the first week if they show
I,
him.
it's
So
it's
like,
it's 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 like okay, it's not again. Your frustration is heard. It's the way you went about it. It's the fact that you immediately went to flipping birds to people. It is that you immediately went to the most ridiculously outlandish, left field, childish, like did you not think at all? And I know they didn't because they clearly didn't think like how this could possibly be portrayed. And you know what was sad, Russo? In 1 full minute, Bubba, like 1 full minute after reading that headline, I immediately said, we really went 1 month. We couldn't go 1 month without doing something like Kiffin's off social media. Nobody knows how healthy the our freaking starting quarterback is. Everybody's just pumping woeful pessimism or or like genius optimism. Like you just have like two ends of the spectrum. And then we finally get some intel. We get a week into camp. We start seeing the people in pads. Everybody's starting to get excited. And then you just threw a wet, damp paper towel directly on top of your face, dude. It was literally, and I don't know how else to explain this, but it's the best thing I had in that moment. For 1 full minute before any reactions were given, it was just the information in the ticker. For 1 full minute, it legitimately felt like whenever you had to come to the realization that you were going to have to go through a new coaching purge change, and you might suck for a little bit before you got better, before you went and got Kiffin. It was the, wow, we're really going to go through a coaching hire again, and we might get it wrong and we might suck again. And it was like that feeling of it in that moment, like we're really about to get laughed at. And then I thought about it and I went, no, you're not. People are not gonna, dude, no one is gonna take this dude's side. And nobody did.
no
So,
one did.
but what I didn't think was that freaking seat geek and a priest locally wouldn't be making fun of him
Oh, it's not
on
just them. It's
Facebook.
nationally. It's
Dude,
nationally. Everyone
dude.
is making memes. A bunch of MLB teams have posted out of respect for Jaden Daniels. we're not gonna say what the score, but we won 5-1. You know what I'm saying? Like it was petty on
Yeah.
a national level. I think he
Yeah.
just underestimated, and I think everyone can agree, regardless of your position. I think just sending a cease and desist out in the public was not the right way of handling that,
No.
and
No.
that's that. And
No.
hopefully, with time, this moves on. It'll be fresh for a little bit. I think with time, this will eventually blow away. So
I hope so.
as long as it stays out. Anyways,
Anyway,
enough of that. I know we both had a lot to get on our chest there. Before we get into the scrimmage notes, there was some recent news that just broke about a ruling in Louisiana about Jack Pyburn,
mm,
specifically for the former LSU player, was granted a temporary restraining order, um, which essentially means he sued the NCAA over his 5th year of eligibility, and he gets this restraining order. It's kind of what Trinidad Chambliss did, right? And got that restraining order and like ended up winning his case. Is that what happened with his 5th year,
um,
or did completely
oh,
because like
an injunction.
which
Uh,
basically Granham, if you get that, it basically means like it's kind of like you can basically get the 5th year, and
um,
unless a court rules on it like immediately, which I think they did in the case of Trinidad Chambliss, the state of Mississippi. I think they granted him his eligibility, and it was fine, right? I mean, that's kind of how it's breaking news, so we don't have all the details on that. But Jack
we've got some
Pyburn,
details on somebody else.
let's hear it.
How about what Russo is referencing right now is preliminary injunctions being allowed for players that were not um, signed,
Corrected.
have
Drafted. Were they drafted but not signed?
not no, as in like they
Oh,
were not
just so
didn't
not
sign.
undrafted and not signed.
And
Okay.
correct. So one of those people was Jack Pyburn. Another one is former Ole Miss star defensive lineman Xavier Harris. Or did he get drafted and he's just entering the portal now? Um, by all means, this is just from Matt Zenitz. This came out about 5 minutes before the show started. Former Ole Miss defensive star Xavier Harris is expected to enter the transfer portal. Also hasn't ruled out a return to Ole Miss per sources. 6'8", 330-pounder who was an all SEC selection last season looks to be entering his name into the transfer portal. Um, so I candidly don't know. I'm just saying what this basically allows that if you didn't get signed by an NFL team, you have the ability to come back and play for college and play a year for college. But I don't know how that works. Do they get their rights when they're done? So like if Jack Pyburn goes back, and even if he goes back to say goes to Auburn instead of going back to LSU, when he gets drafted again, does Tampa Bay get to select him at an earlier round or at that right? Like they just get to select Jack in the 7th. Like how does that
I
work? So
don't.
I
That's a
don't
good
know.
question.
I
That's
have
a very
no
good
idea how
question.
that's operated, but some of these someone's going to take advantage of that. Someone's going to leave
Oh,
an NFL locker room to go and play college again.
there were 3 Ole Miss players too, by the way. Xavier Harris, Daquan Harris, Widette Smith, or I think he went by another name. So 2 others from compared to what you mentioned as well. So, and one of those was another D
Okay.
lineman, and one was a safety. So interesting because like they can just enter the transfer portal, and Lane Kiffin has made this comment several times in his press conferences. There might not
Looking at
be
everything.
there might not be a spot for Jack Pyburn, right? I mean, he was under Brian Kelly's team last year. Obviously, he played a lot of edge, if I'm not mistaken, in his time with us. And given, I mean, we have heard some stories about Ross being banged up and not participating here and there, but like, could there be a spot for him? I don't know, but it's just a new coaching staff, so like in the case of Jack Pyburn, it might not make sense, but in the case of one of those 3 Ole Miss players who might have had a relationship, and obviously it's on the defensive side of the ball, so obviously you might stay with Ole Miss there with everything going on, but breaking news obviously right before the shows happen, so we'll have some more details on that next episode and see what we can find out. And all right, so 25 minutes in, thank you all for staying patient. We'll get into the scrimmage and once again, this was a closed scrimmage in Tiger Stadium. We obviously got some like highlight clips here and there from LSU's social media page. We also have, very trusted media that have sources within LSU's teams, and they only release certain information, right? I think that relationship goes both ways. They're not going to give you the full story. They just give you an inkling of what's going on. So I can tell you what I know, and I'm going to hand it to Trey on each note and see what he has to say about it. So that's how we're going to kind of play that out. So as far as the scrimmage was concerned, 170 plays. So a lot of plays were ran. Uh, I think it was a lot of first team offense, first team defense, second team offense, second team defense uh, throughout those plays. And the big headline that I saw was that the first team defense shined, specifically the secondary. Um, PJ Woodland looked incredible. DJ Pickett looked great. Ty Benefield, as always, and Jace Thomas, who was a surprising name in the starting lineup when we talked about this, when they were sending out rotations with those pursuit drills, that the media was able to see, had an interception in the game. So, what are your thoughts on hearing good reviews about the secondary?
Honestly, it's the best news that you could have gotten. I think so. Okay, so I was making this. I was making this like I guess script of like how I was going to go about it until I trashed it and just said we riding. Um, when you have someone like Tamarcus Cooley, who for those of you that don't remember, you the names don't do it for you. Tamarcus Cooley started as your safety last year. You brought in two safeties last year, one of which came back, one went to the NFL draft and got drafted in I think what the third round or the second round, something like that. AJ Halsey was your safety that entered the portal late last year, came out of Houston, um, and basically ran down like a bat out of hell from the moment he got onto the field to the moment he left. Just how it was. You went and replaced him with Ty Benefield, who, for all intents and purposes, a lot of people think that he could be even better, bigger, taller, faster, just a different kind of player, but for all intents and purposes can play. Well, Tamarcus Cooley plays on the other end. Tamarcus Cooley is a little bit different of a body type, maybe 5'11", 6 foot, but you'd say what, 195, 200. Not a burner, but fast enough to cover. You never really asked him to play man, but someone that was never really afraid to call out to call out what he saw on the field. What you did see from time to time was maybe some bad angles. Okay, like there was a couple of, especially against South Carolina last year, some bad form and taking an angle on a would be tackle, and that could have been stopped at 10-12 yards, and it ends up in a 55-yard touchdown. So what I think Jace Thomas is going to bring is, dude, I have nothing to lose. That's what people keep saying. They say this Jace Thomas kid plays like he's got nothing to lose. And again, this is a Destrehan kid, a local Louisiana prospect who clearly and obviously they love each other. Him and Tamarcus don't have bad blood. This is not like, oh my God, he's coming for your job kind of thing. It's a, hey man, like we want the best 11. Like we want the best people out here to play. And if it just so happens to be a sophomore, redshirt freshman, whatever his classification is, I guess they're doing away with red shirts considering now it's 5 for 5. I just, dude, if somebody's pushing you, we're past the this is a test thing. We're past the let's just see what Jace looks like in that defense. I mean, bro, we're 2 weeks and 2 days away. Like we're there.
It's
Like
probably his position at this point. I mean, he's probably
that's
the
kind of
second
how it
guy.
feels.
Yeah, I mean
So
that's what it is at this point. That's what it feels like. You're right. I mean, uh, I think he's looked great. We've just heard nothing but good things about him. And
if they're saying
has
it,
experience. Cooley has experience, right? I mean, he played a bunch last year, so
and
like
they will both play.
he will play. Like they will rotate,
Mm-hmm.
and especially with Mansur's brother.
Oh,
Also,
Fahim, hey
yeah,
now.
also hearing good things about him. So like the secondary has depth, which is good because injuries happen, and it seems like Lane has a very good um he clocks. He's very conservative as far as like resting his guys. Like he gives his guys breaks. Like there's been times where you see people. He's had Trey'Dez in the gold jersey this whole time. He's had
Yeah.
several people in gold jerseys throughout camp. at various times. And I know people get banged up, but he is like very player first as far as practice is concerned, and it seems to work for him. So I'm glad to see how that works out as far as that's concerned. All three true freshmen were heavily involved. Um, I just think there's just going to be a rotation at this point. I mean, there's not going to be these two guys are the starters and
Hey,
on the
dog.
D line. They're gonna rotate the big boys in. Lamar is gonna see some time. Obviously, we've seen uh, some banged up with Ross on the end, so you've seen Lamar Brown step up and play and have some good reps in. So heard great things about them. The pass rush was great, and that kind of leads me into my next point was because the pass rush was great early on. Sam was having to run. Sam was having to improvise. And at first, allegedly, it was a struggle, but they were like, hey, once you see it a couple times, then they got the ball rolling. First team offense looked good in the second half of that scrimmage of their time. So I guess that's a blessing and a curse, right? It's like, is the D line? You always have these internal questions, right? Is our D line just that good, or
Right.
does it leave the
Right.
door open for our offensive line to have concerns? Like, is our pass defense or our pass blocking not as good? So what are your thoughts on how you decipher hearing both of those things? Good, bad, you try and find the median?
I'm going to reference what I said an episode ago. Do you remember who had the first sack last year in the season?
PJ Witherman?
Absolutely tossed back a jello shot after that happened too, by the way. Mom, shout out mom. We were at the beach. We went to the beach for that game and she made purple and gold jello shots and it was such a like a knockdown drag out. We started taking shots for like first downs and stuff. Like it was it was pretty funny. But we noticed that Blake Baker's obviously not afraid to blitz at anybody and everybody. I mean, he'll just blitz all of them. Like, I don't care if they run routes, just let's blitz. Like, that's just how he is. And so I think obviously it would take some getting used to. I think the pass blocking is going to take some getting used to with a defense like this. This just in, Blake Baker's defenses are good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think you need to worry about whether or not they're going to be able to run the football. I think all the word around the street is that you've been able to run the rock. So then again, that leaves you up to say, well, can this D line like stop the run, or can the offensive line but everybody that has the ability to see this is saying it does not look like it looked last year. This does not look the same. And it's always the age old thing about in camp is, does the defense suck or is it good? Does the offense suck or are they good? And so what I'm trying to say is pass blocking probably seems like it would take a little bit of time to get your legs under you. Like, make sure the person next to you understands where you're going to be. And if you take an extra step, I need you to step with me. Communication, like that's going to take some time. I think you might notice that the left side of that line probably does a little bit better out of the gate, maybe than the right, just considering that you have obviously heard Jordan Seaton and Bo Bordelon really have some really good rapport over there. And you already know that, you've got a center that's ready to rock with everybody. I think what you're gonna see is pass blocking versus run blocking. If you were to give them grades coming out of camp, it kind of sounds like run blocking is like a B plus, and pass blocking is like a B minus. And maybe even a C plus in that scrimmage. Which by the way, if you had C plus running offensive anything last year, passing, running, 2-minute drill, goal line, anything with a C plus would have probably given you at least 2 extra wins last year. So,
At
and
least.
the best thing that I actually like did see, I don't know who put it on Twitter, but I wish I could see it, bruh. Somebody said that they're concerned about how fast the offense plays in Lane Kiffin's system and how tired is his defense going to be. And the first comment that I saw said nothing's faster than 3 and out. They were way more
Yeah.
tired last year. Like,
Yeah.
so I think it's acceptable to say that the offense took a second to figure out these bobcats running at their face in this scrimmage, and then all of a sudden you started to see them light it up. Harlem Berry gets a little bit of love. Stacey Gage gets a little bit of love. All of
Yeah.
a sudden you're hearing Caden Durham might be number 4, and it's like that's a freshman All-American and he's your 4 back. So it's I don't know, man. I don't know. I
That
just know
yeah.
you've got pass catchers, and they don't need to hold the block that long. They shouldn't.
And that's the good thing you have with a guy like Sam Levitt, and we were all interested to see how he would, post this injury, and obviously we've heard he's looked good in fall camp, but how is he going to look in a scrimmage, right? And he was wearing a no contact jersey, right? Every quarterback does
Of course.
in scrimmages, but he allegedly looked great. He impressed on the run, he improvised, and that's something you just missed last year, right? I think you had a quarterback who was banged up and rightfully so reluctant to run the ball. I think Garrett's a tough kid. I think he's gonna probably do pretty well in Kansas City. He was just banged up last year, and obviously a lot of stuff has come out about that injury. And instead of running and using his wheels, a lot like Joe Burrow and Jayden Daniels, decided to just throw a ball, try and make a play with his arm, and a lot of times he got burned doing that. So I think that's really good news hearing that. Harlem Berry stole the show. I mean, he had some big time plays. He even had a touchdown, a long touchdown run. Missed the dunk on the I think the LSU social media posted it, and I think it was taken down because when you slow motion the dunk, he he
He
bricked
low
the
key. I
he
think he missed it.
bricked he bricked the he bricked it. So we're working on that. And
Okay.
obviously so it's
He's
fun.
not playing for Will Wade. It's fine.
Yeah, he's not will. I mean, we need some players. Tradez might need to lace him up.
Hey,
Uh,
look, dude, I got my tickets today. My selection
yeah.
process was today. I'll be in there. Me and
So
Russo will be on there.
now we sure will be, man. I'm excited. So yeah, Harlem Berry stole the show, and Stacey Gage. Lots of good things coming out of camp. I think he's going to be the number 3, and man, it
That's
sucks.
wild. That's
It
wild.
sucks for Caden. The running back, and with the running back room, Caden's good enough to work his way back. I think if he really wants it and is healthy, I think he works his way back because he had so many big plays for
I
LSU
know.
when
I know.
the run offense was just not good, and I think he works his way back. So uh, I'm excited for what I heard out of this scrimmage. Fall
I'm
camp notes. I mean, go on. Yeah,
me too. And I also I
yeah,
didn't want to go too far away into the show unless I gave out a shout out to Dan with Southside Properties for the new water bottle here. Shout out Dan with Southside Properties. We'll work on getting that an official show sponsor at some point. But again, I do think you've got players that can catch the ball. You got players that can run the ball. Can you give them enough space to get out into it and take it and run? It sounds like when Harlem Berry gets that ball in space, bad things happen for people that play defense.
yeah. And he offers a. He's probably one of the better receiving
Hey now.
out in the room, I would
Hey
say.
now. Dude, he got his 5th star as a damn receiver at Rummel.
Yeah, so I think
Not Rummel, brother, was it no. Where'd he go to school? St.
um,
Martin.
yeah.
St. Martin. He got his 5th
Um,
star as a receiver because of how well he freaking caught the ball, dog. They're going to throw that dude the ball in space, and he's going to run really fast, and he's going to end up in the end zone. And we're going to go, why is he not the starter? And then you're going to watch Dylan Jones come in the game, and you're going to go, oh, damn. Because nobody knew who Kawan Lacey was last year. Nobody knew. You do
and Di
now.
and
And now
Dylan
he has
Jones
grills.
Dylan Jones will jeez, all that money, you're getting,
Hey, hey,
and rightfully so. That's probably a big reason why he
he has
didn't come
grills.
here.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
no, one of the big reasons why he didn't come here was because Ole Miss paid him a bag. So
Yeah. Well, yeah.
so,
He didn't
man,
stay for free.
so I would say, and I think the big thing that came out of camp, and I think we already kind of knew this, Levitt's connections are pretty clear. Uh, Watkins, Jace Brown, Jackson Harris,
And
Eugene
Trey
Wilson.
Trey.
Yeah. So like those are the 4 guys. I saw a play just based on the highlights where Jace Brown was putting some moves on. And I think those are your 4 guys. And not to take away from the other guys. Those are just your 4 guys, I think. Barring everyone stays healthy. Barring anyone, you know, shows out in these next couple of weeks. So I think those will be your 4 on on day one against Clemson. So great news coming out of that. Hopefully, we get to just, I just can't wait to see it, man. Like it's, I guess being not being able to see it and just kind of going on Intel is it's making me want it more, man. It just makes me want to see it. I'm gonna be so nervous. September 5th. Is
God.
September 4th or September 5th? I think it's the 5th.
Fifth, and
Labor Day
I'm gonna
weekend,
be
thank God.
very hydrated,
Labor Day weekend, thank goodness. I
dude.
told Katie, I'm like, during the day, we'll do whatever, but past 4 o'clock, I'm good.
We got to
I'm
lock in,
I need
dude.
to lock in. I need some time to lock in. So we
I am so afraid, Russo. I am so afraid of what's gonna happen when they lock the doors, the lights go out, the LEDs come on, and the drunk people from a full 100,000 strong finally get to have this type of crazy maniac as a coach. I just,
yeah.
I just, uh, so shout out Smallcraft. Definitely my boy Dylan, big, huge supporter of the show. Can y'all tell me who is going to be kicking field goals for us? I feel like that's never even been talked about and kind of a big deal. Is that not going to be Starzik?
I'm pretty sure it's Darzik.
Shout out, by the way, shout out. I don't think he's gonna start, but shout out Gavin Higgins, man. Coached that kid a few times in basketball in junior high. Hell of a kid, hell of a leg. Made what seems like a trillion field goals over at Parkview Baptist. Shout out Eagles. Just up the street there. But I think that's gonna be Starzik, if I'm not mistaken.
And shout out, speaking of that, shout out my boy
Or Chadwick,
Snee.
maybe.
Shout out Snee. He's the receivers coach at Episcopal.
Shout out
Um,
Snee.
Silas Hall, who was a freshman last year, is I think going to be the long snapper, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah,
this
I do
year.
think it's gonna be Scott Starzik.
I think it's Darzik. It's not very clear. I think like it hasn't been very much talked about, which is why we don't have, and rightfully so. I guess like when we hear
Okay, yeah,
our intel from the media, um,
Starzik.
a lot of the focus is on Sam Levitt, on the true freshman defense, and you're right. We haven't paid
You're
as
gonna need
much,
him.
but you're gonna need them.
You're gonna need him.
And look, we'll definitely. I think we'll know week one. We'll see in Tiger Stadium a calm environment when he kicks the ball. See if he can get a few through.
I,
Let's just
I,
PAT. Hopefully, that's just some PATs he sees through. Go first. So
bruh, you're
see a
you're
few
you're
go
going.
through.
Dude, and then when you go to Auburn, which I think you and I have confirmed that we're watching that game.
Right.
You're gonna like weird, stupid crap happens. We go on the road and Nealon. You don't think you're gonna need him. So like I think Chadwick's gonna punt. I think Stars is gonna kick. But
I
hey,
think
look,
Chadwick
that's a fair point.
was named All SEC for punting. I think
Mm-hmm.
so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm
Hey, you
looking
got a
forward.
hell of a coordinator coming over now too. Now, don't
I'm
sleep
looking forward
on.
to that, and we'll see how special teams performs. Obviously, under the Brian Kelly era, we had some memorable moments, and look, they were with some big time players too, like Malik Neighbors in that Florida State game. Uh, the muffed punts, like I think special teams under this era will be a lot different.
That's actually a really good question. And by the way, for those of you that don't follow, Joe Houston is going to be your special teams coordinator. When Ole Miss had a nationally ranked top 5 special teams, Joe Houston was the coordinator of that, and he is now your special teams coordinator. Good question again. Do y'all think that Lane is going to still have the same approach on 4th down now that he has a legit defense? I think it'll change in certain instances, but Lane believes him and Charlie believe in what they do on offense. They use analytics a lot. He's kind of mentioned that in a couple press conferences. Russo could disagree if he wants to, but
I do a little bit because I think he had a legit defense at Ole Miss in 2024, and with all those
yeah,
guys that got drafted,
dude,
and
I think they're going to do their thing.
I think they're just gonna do it. Yeah, I mean, sure, like they might have. I don't know. It is what it is. It's. I think he trusts his offense. I trust his offense. He doesn't score 33 points a game for no reason. Um. So yeah. I think I think nothing changes. However, he might be a little conservative week 1, given it's his first game at Tiger Stadium. So, like, he
Hey,
might ease into it a little bit, but something tells me Lane's the kind of guy that first possession, he might go for it on his own 35
dude,
and
you'd be
just be
lucky.
like,
Yeah,
like 4th and 1, he might just go for it on his own 35 just to not go 3 and out. So, like,
that dude is. I don't know, man. You can't.
yeah,
You
no.
you can't you can't all of a sudden stop believing in what you do on offense. That guy is.
Yeah, I just want some offense, dude. I'm just wanting some offense. And speaking of offense, we'll segue into some of the fall camp notes. Not a lot to report. Roman Mothershed has been recently working out with the tight ends, and for good reason. Because one, he was probably on the bottom of the totem pole as far as the receiving room, at least you know but he's 6'5", man. Like he's got some size, and with Trey Dez, he could definitely possibly get some playing time if he develops at that tight end, and it could be a long term project for him too. Like I've heard Lane, just take some players and with position changes and going from like receiver to tight end's not the end of the world, I guess, compared to maybe like a play on defense when you're moving from like middle linebacker to star or like safety to star or vice versa. Um, but that's a big no. I mean, he came from Troy, I believe, so like
Mhm.
he had 25 catches, 259 yards, and a touchdown last year. I've heard good things about him. I think a lot of people in the media are big on him just because of his size. He could be an end zone threat, but I think we already have that with Trey Dez. But in the event something happens with Trey Dez, he's not a bad option to maybe have in the wings in case something goes wrong. So something to report there. As far as the gold jerseys are concerned from yesterday's practice, we've got Jabari Mack, Malik LZ, and Trades on the offensive side, and Harlem Berry, who was out, I believe, on
I think that was a
Monday,
stomach bug, by the way.
stomach bug, and he was seen back at practice Tuesday. It just wasn't. He was participating with some one-on-ones with the coaches. So, um, on the defensive side, DJ Pickett was in a gold non-contact jersey. I think that's kind of the same thing as Trades, just precautionary.
Precautionary.
Yeah. Um, so that is what we've got on both sides of those balls. Levitt, I heard long balls has looked good. He went 4 for 4 for 30 plus yards to uh, Watkins once, Jace Thomas twice, and Jackson Harris looked phenomenal. Can't wait to see him air it out. And that's been something he can do. I just think seeing it in game and while he's on the run possibly might be, where we want to see it the most in clutch moments. So like it's good to see that we're seeing that on there. And then as far as the offensive line, this is my last note. Um, you mentioned this earlier. Jordan Seaton and Bo Bordelon are working together on their combo work, and then Wesson Davis, Aluba, and Braylon Moore are on the other side working on their combo work. So I think that's going to be your five um, coming out as far as the starters, and those seem solidified unless something happens. So, any thoughts on any of that?
Honest to God, dude, no. Like I love and shout out Dylan. Y'all hit the like and subscribe. Let's get us to 100, dude, because we're doing something for 100. We're not gonna tell you, but we're doing something for 100. I will say, dude, you're gonna need him. You're like Roman Mothershed, big body, 6'2", 220, 215 type, big fella. You got to have as many. You got to utilize these people while you have them. You know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw maybe a you know freshman defensive tackle that played running back in high school get a couple carries in the goal line. But what I would say is when you have players on the team, dude, you got to use them. And if Roman's going to get some run here at tight end, give Trades at least a 5 or 10 or 12% less of a snap share, and maybe that amounts to like a game and a half or 2 games of rest for him. Hey, big dog, we don't need you to win. I don't need you to play. I don't need you to play. Like I need you right whenever we go on the road at Oxford. I need you right when we go to Jordan Hare at breakfast time and kick it off. I need you right when we go to Neyland. You feel me? Like I need when we're home under the lights and burnt orange comes through the scene. Like I need you right for that. So if you can find anybody that can catch passes and get people the hell up out the way for Dylan Jones and Harlem Berry, that's not Trey Green, I'm down on that. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. No, I'm excited, man. I'm just we're hearing nothing but good things. Hopefully, we stay out of the media, um, with the JD stuff and let that pass through. But man, couple weeks out, and and look, life was busy. We didn't have a catching up with coach yesterday, but honestly, there was not much to report outside of what we talked about today, right? So, um, I think we're getting closer. I mean, it's just time of the year, right? I mean, we're
I know, man.
once we get to the start of the season, sheesh, you could probably make an episode every day, right? Um,
Dude. Dude, we're so close.
Death Valley bets will be coming to you soon. We're just waiting on some more lines. Obviously, we're gonna have a ladder challenge, a prize picks play of the week, and every prize picks play we have will have a contest. Whoever likes the video and comments, they'll be eligible to we'll pick a winner and split a whatever we win. I mean, we're not gonna lowball and shoot for Trey knows this. We don't shoot for low parlays. We go for
No,
for the
even
big
though I
one.
ask.
So you'll probably see a lot of Trey Green involvement every week in that as far as that's concerned. And can't wait. So like you'll probably see that not this week, not next week, but right before. I mean, we'll try and get a week 0 play in there, but there's just no LSU stuff.
10
So
days.
so
10
we'll see
days, bro. We're 10 freaking days away. Next Saturday.
next Saturday. So
Next Saturday, you're gonna watch Dublin. You're gonna watch a
yeah,
Dublin football game again, and
and
it's feeling like it.
we'll have a bet. We'll have a bet for that. So like Death Valley bets, that will be more of a social media. Like I'll make a video, like a short pre-recorded YouTube video, but like that won't be a live video, and a lot of that will be social media based. So stay tuned in that, and we're gonna track, and that's both me and Trey's involvement too. Like we both are involved in that. It's not just one or the other. We just wanted to brand that as well, just like we do with catching up with the coach. They're all under this, flagship show that we do here. So we're gonna be very transparent, with our betting record. We like to keep ourselves accountable and like to track. So and we're parlay guys. We're not gonna be, those hey straight bets. Let's we're shooting for it.
Huge
So
parlay, guys.
and we're not like big wager guys. We're not telling you to put 50 or $100 on these parlays. I mean, I think for the most part, $5 to $10 are our units as far as that's concerned. So we'll keep you coming on that, and hopefully we'll have some more on that in the next couple of weeks. So 53 minutes and counting. We are about done. I mean, time flies when you just
I
so
know.
excited, man. Like it's just crazy.
Ready. We're
I
ready.
believe I believe practice was off today.
Just walkthroughs.
Yeah, so nothing to report as far as today or tonight is concerned. I think they get back and practice in the morning and then night the next 2 days. So if anything crazy happens, we'll let you know. Um,
Correct. You'll get Charlie Weiss, I think, on Friday,
yeah.
which
So
is interesting. That's a rare one. So good.
we
That'll
had
be
Baker on
an interesting.
Friday, Blake Baker
Yes.
Friday, last Friday. Man, just excited. Can't say it enough. Thanks to everyone that was in the comments. We appreciate the candor and the transparency and hold us accountable. Like I said, we haven't talked a lot about kicking, and that's right. I mean, I think there hadn't been a ton of information as far as that's concerned. So we'll definitely do our best to mention all three phases of the football, and hopefully next week we'll have some validity and solidarity as far as any position battles that are still up in the air. And otherwise, that's it. Anything else from you, coach?
I'm ready, bro. I'm ready. I think catching up with Coach next week will be pretty spirited. Definitely gonna have a little less luster than obviously week 1, but week 0 is still college football, y'all. We literally are gonna be we're gonna be watching college football next Saturday. So get hype, get ready, get set. We're about to have it all come to fruition here pretty soon.
All right, guys. Well, we will put a bow on this one, and don't forget, like and subscribe. We're gonna try and get to 100 soon. So spread the word, tell your friends, whoever likes LSU football or just football in general. So, y'all guys take care and peace.